Zelos Podcast is sponsored by Kinetic IQ, where intelligence meets motion. Kinetic IQ brings a biomechanics lab into the palm of your hand, letting you measure movement anytime, anywhere, with just an iPad or an iPhone, and no wearables required. I've been using Kinetic IQ's markerless motion capture in my own practice, and whether you're screening athletes, analyzing posture and gait mechanics, optimizing performance, or guiding return to play, it helps practitioners like us save time, capture more objective data, and make instant actionable decisions. So to learn more about how Kinetic IQ is shaping the future of intelligent movement, visit them at kineticiq.com. That's KINETIKIQ.com. You know, I can't tell you how thrilled I am to have Metabolic Elite be one of the sponsors of the Zelos Podcast. You know what makes Metabolic Elite different is their commitment to real results. I've seen a lot of supplements and performance enhancement things over the years, but they pair clinical experience with innovation, like Lipitab, their proprietary solid-state liposomal delivery system. It's a chewable format which enhances absorption, like nutrients like BPC 157 and synapses. They're delivered more efficiently in the body, supporting recovery, focus, cognitive health. Their formulas go beyond the basics, solving performance health challenges at the system level. Every product is tested for quality, it's backed by research, and trusted by athletes and clinicians alike. So learn more at metabolicelite.co. And you can get 10% off all of Metabolic Elite products by entering the coupon code ZELOS, Z-E-L-O-S. Welcome to the Zelos Podcast. I'm your host, Rocky Snyder. This week, Jon Torine is with me, legendary NFL strength coach. In the 90s, he was at the Buffalo Bills. In the turn of the 2000s, he was with the Indianapolis Colts through their Super Bowl wins. And we're just going to have a great conversation. Before we get underway, be sure to check out the Fascia Performance and Rehab Summit. That's happening at the end of March 27th and 28th, kind of in John's neck of the woods in New Jersey, Fair Lawn, New Jersey. It's going to be myself, Tom Myers, Michelle Dalcour, Bobby Stroop, a whole bunch of other people, 2 days of intense learning from some remarkable minds. I can't wait to learn myself. You can go to performbetter.com to find out more information, or go to my website, rockysnyder.com. Check out the events there while you're at it, some podcast archives. Okay, enough of that. Let's get on with the show. Well, this week, we just had the Super Bowl a week or so ago, and of course, Pats and Seahawks. At this time we're recording it, we don't know how the end went. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I've got all these. If you're watching the video, these are all Super Bowl footballs of the Patriots win. And in fact, Malcolm Butler's interception is right there in that photo. And of course, Julian Edelman with the catch against Atlanta. So you know who I'm rooting for. And so I'm going East Coast this week, and we're talking football with Jon Torine. Jon, first, hey, welcome to the Zelos Podcast.
Thanks, Rocky. Glad to be here, man. Some of those Bulls, they had to go through the Colts to get some of those, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, they're not fully inflated. So if you want to throw that under the bus right now, we can.
Very good.
They are completely below proper PSI.
I got nothing on that.
But you guys, you were the S&C coach for the Colts, and we'll get to that in a minute, but you have yourself a ring. Are you wearing your ring right now?
I'm not.
Oh, where is it? Can I ask? Is it in a safe somewhere?
I mean, I'll give you my address and social security card too. It's in the it's in my sock drawer in the closet.
That is a humble response for sure. Okay. Hey, first, thanks for coming on, and give us a little background about your career path, because it is pretty storied, to say the least. And of course, I know you came from Springfield College. It seems like every other guest I have has gone through that program. All roads lead to Springfield is what I say. But give us a rundown. Who the heck is Jon Torine?
Oh, man. Yeah, there's something in the water over at Springfield. I don't know what happened. And I know that everybody it's not lost on me that the people that like yourself that have heard of Springfield and know it, that I know told me you went to Amherst, which is a wonderful place, but I know really get tired of hearing about Springfield.
We get so tired. That little, it's like David and Goliath as far as I'm concerned. Springfield College, this little podunk town in western Massachusetts, and then you got the big 5 college universities out there too, and everyone's going to Springfield for strength conditioning.
Yeah, I
But
mean, we got this
obviously,
inferiority, we get this inferiority complex. So just let us be with it.
okay, go for it.
But no, it's amazing, and it's I think anybody growing up that doesn't think they had some type of help or mentorship or people that helped them, even if it was people that showed them what not to do. We've all, I don't think any of us can look back and go, I did this by myself. Like nobody helped. I did this.
Yeah.
And that would be an absolutely delusional way to go through life, I think. And so with that, I'm so fortunate in that I've had unbelievable, not only in my family, um, but in my professional life and all of that. And people sometimes you don't know when they're coming. Sometimes it's as quick as a nod. I mean, you got to be open for it. I know. So as an NSCA guy who was there in the early days yourself, you might appreciate this. So I knew I wanted to be a strength coach when I was in high school, because when you look in the mirror when you're in 9th or 10th grade and you're in New Jersey and you look like every other 5'6" kid, that's too heavy for his height, too short for his weight, and you think you're going to play for the Giants, you go, that might not be what happens. It might not. I don't think Lawrence Taylor and me got a whole lot athletic in common, And but I got really infatuated, Rocky, like many of us in this field, with, okay, how do I take this swamp of a genetic pool that I've been given and maximize it? And in those days, I didn't even appreciate the neck up like I've come to the in my adult life. I was like, what can we do to get bigger, faster, and stronger, right? Like, what are we going to do? Thank God I saw some people have some real issues with some steroids and other things that scared the hell out of me. And I can't tell you I wouldn't have done it if I didn't see that. So thank God I saw it, because it scared me. I know, I said, okay, that's clearly, I don't want to end up in the hospital. Okay, we're not going that route. Because that's on the table, right? If you're being honest.
Yeah.
And so I didn't, thank God. So I'm like, all right, I got a real issue. How do I do this? Just me and weights and food and a lot of determination. And all I want to do is play college football. And then so I started trying to understand it. I found this thing. I don't even remember how I found the National Strength Coaches Association.
Sure.
And I'm reading the journals and doing all that, just trying to understand, what is all this? And I didn't even know until Johnny Parker was the strength coach of the Giants at the time. And as classy, I mean, the superlatives for Johnny are endless. As classy an individual and as giving and generous and amazing guy as there is. I called him when I was in high school to try to understand how to be a strength coach. Could I come pick up the towels at training camp? The training camp wasn't too far from where I grew up at the time. And he spent 45 minutes with me on the phone as a kid.
Wow.
Training camp. I was 16. In my room talking to Johnny Parker. I couldn't believe it. And when I years when I was on different fields with him and other things, I told him a million times how many, he's like, he's so humble. I said, John, just amazing. So he told me classes to take and different things and all these amazing things. And I wind up going to Springfield College. Our defense coordinator in high school happened to go there. And I only wanted to go to Florida because I wanted to be in Florida and be in that weather and be fishing and that kind of stuff. and play football. And he's like, look, John, if you want to be a strength coach, you got to go to Springfield College. That's where I went. He had to tell me he was on the 1965 undefeated team. I think he just wanted to throw that in there. Need to go up there. I'm like, Massachusetts, that's the exact opposite place I need to be going, you know? So he said, no, man, you got to go there. Go for it. That's where if you want to be a strength coach. Okay. So I wound up going there. My sophomore year, I'm taking a nutrition class taught by, God rest his soul, the baseball coach, Coach Royce. That's how Springfield did it. Coaches taught class also.
Oh, man. What years were these?
Yeah, right. So I'm at Springfield early 90s, like 91 to 94, 95, something like that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I get to the class. I'll spare you the long end of it, but although it's tough, but this changed my entire life because I was basically set up for, even though I went to Springfield to be a strength coach and I wanted to do that, and I didn't even know how the hell that was even going to happen. I pretty much figured I'd be lifeguarding in Jersey my whole life, which I'm not knocking. I was all for it. And I'm in this nutrition class, sophomore year. Coach Royce, beginning of the class, he always asks some kind of question. And he's real intimidating, old school Western Mass farmer, baseball coach, dip in the mouth, spot builts on the feet, cap, top, tough. I was scared of hell. And if the rest of the class was honest, they'd tell you the same thing. So he asked this question, and he's like, look, if you get this right, you get an A on the next test or whatever, and he's just mad about it. And so he asked this question. He's passing out these Post-it notes. We're rows across, rows behind, single file. And he asked a question, and I was like, oh, my God, I know the answer to it. I was like, oh. And then he's like, all right, fill them out. I'm like, and he's like, and I was like, I don't want to answer this. I don't want to even deal with this guy. Well, because he made this whole speech. Look, you're all a bunch of idiots, you know, like just killing us, right? And I'm like, this is nuts. Anyway, so he asked a question. I go to hell with it. I write it. He's collecting the notes. And as he's collecting the notes each row, he's just like, no, stupid, dummy. What are we doing? It was a waste of my time. What time's practice? You know, and what a beautiful man. So anyway, and then he gets to our row and he's going through and he stops. I mean, he stops short. He's on mine. He goes, who wrote this? Who wrote vitamin B6? Whose is this? I ducked behind a kid in front of me, right? I'm like, forget it. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. I was never going to get an A in anything anyway. What's the difference? I never seen an A. Who cares? So he's like, whose is this? And after a few times, nobody's saying, I'm like, come on, somebody lie. Like somebody else take it. You can ask. Anyway, so I sneak my hand up behind the kid in front of me, like, that's mine, coach, you know. You see me after class. You see me after class. That was the longest 55 minutes of my life. So I wait. I'm there. I probably went to the bathroom 10 times waiting for that class to move. And I go up to him, and he goes, what's your name? You know, tell me about yourself. Hey, coach, blah, blah, blah. What are you doing here? Why are you coming to Springfield? I want to be a strength coach. You do? Yeah. I don't like this weather. I can assure you of that. He says, how did you know that answer? Nobody ever knows that. I go, coach, I got to be the luckiest guy right now. He goes, what do you mean? I said, last night I'm reading this NSCA journal, and it happened to be in 2 days ago. I don't know that answer. He goes, what do you doing reading NSCA journal? I want to be a strength coach. So I came here. And it's my sophomore year. I said, football, these guys took my shoulders and threw them onto Alden Street. I got nothing left in this body, man. It's over. And he goes, take a walk with me. I walk with him to his office to spare all the fun details for another time. He basically puts me on the phone with Rusty Jones, who's the strength coach of the Bills at the time, the Buffalo Bills, who's a friend of his, who Rusty was like his GA back when Rusty went to Springfield. And he
Wow.
says, Rusty, I got a kid here. I think he'd be great for you. Do you still take interns? And I'm like, I'm sitting on his couch. I don't know what the hell's going on. And he's like, this kid's reading freaking journals. He wants to be a strength coach. And I hear Rusty go, hey, coach, if you like him, I'll like him. What year is he? So he puts me on the phone with Rusty. I'm shaking. I know who Rusty is. I followed all this. I knew the strength coaches better than any of the damn quarterbacks in the league, you know? And they were just in all the Super Bowls and the whole bit, or in the middle of their Super Bowl run back in the 90s when they went to 4 straight with Kelly and all. And he tells me, we talk for a few minutes, hang up. And he says, you're a sophomore. He goes, look, I could be fired 4 times before you're a senior. Just keep in touch with me. Kept in touch with him, studied like nobody's business. And I was like, I'm not screwing this one. And which I almost did a few times. And then I wound up going up there as like an intern volunteer.
Fantastic.
And yeah, so if not for Coach Roy's going, let me take a shot on this kid. And Rusty, and that's just the beginning. And of course, the way I grew up and my family and all those kinds of things. But, Johnny kind of going, oh, they're human. Like, what a human. Like, what an amazing dude. And so I would have never done, I'd have been back here, happy to be a lifeguard. At the same time, those guys propelled me into a life that I can't even articulate.
No, that's fantastic. I love that. And actually, during that, you mentioned, you've got a few more years of school. I could be fired a whole bunch of times in that time, and so on. But which is that's an issue with a career in strength conditioning, especially in the pro sports. You could be there for one season or a whole bunch, and you, my man, you were with the Colts for an enormous amount of time, all through the early 2000s. Like, how many years were you either the assistant or the lead strength coach for the Colts?
Well, I was the assistant at the Bills for 3 years. Bill Polian goes to the Colts and becomes the president, general manager of the Colts in 1998. He and Jim Mora was the head coach
Yeah.
in 1998. They hired me as the head strength coach. And Coach Dungy, Tony took over in 2002, and then Jim Caldwell after that. So I was in Indy as the head strength coach for 14 years, 98 to 2012. But I'll tell you this, when you have a Peyton Manning, and I can name a long, and Marvin Harrison's and Reggie Wayne's,
Right.
Robert Mathis's and Dallas Clark's, and the list goes on, you're a lot smarter.
What do you mean? Wait, what do you mean?
When Peyton Manning's your quarterback, you're a lot smarter as a strength coach than you are if
Yeah, Bernie Kosel. Just saying. Okay.
We're all a lot smarter with, great players make a lot of things, a lot of people great too.
Wild. But you had endured 3 different coaching changes,
Yeah.
which, I've got some buddies in the NFL, and I won't name them, but they've lost their positions because a new head coach comes in and he brings his crew with him. So, but that didn't happen. So that speaks volumes to me about the quality of work that you were doing, the efficacy of the programs you were designing, your coaching philosophy. It speaks volumes. So, give me an idea of why. Like, what is it about you and your work, whether it's the ethics, the efficiency, whatever? Why? Why did you stay there? How did they let you stay?
I ask myself that every morning. What are they thinking? What
were they thinking?
It's delusional, man.
God, I love East Coasters. That's so funny. Jersey boys.
It truly, like, we're all about team and collective, right? And individuals make that up, of course, but there's so much that has to take place. And look, think it was Bill Parcells that said winning's the ultimate deodorant or something like that. Something like that. I think it was. I don't know. Winning helps. And we did a lot of winning. Not as much as the Patriots, but we did a lot of winning too.
He did a hell of a lot of winning.
And so that typically will keep you there. And look, your friends you mentioned, people bring in their own mafias as they should. I was a product of that too. Now, Bill Polian, I wasn't with in Buffalo, but he wanted his own, just like a lot of these big, really, really, I don't want to say powerful. That's not fair. Wise leaders do. You got to get people around you that you want, you trust, and vice versa. And so that's real, and a part of it. We did a lot of winning. We had a culture that was like football utopia, and I'm not saying you go to the garden and act like there's no weeds. Like everybody's got problems and things, and right, and as we did. And when you talk about Bill and his leadership, you talk about Coach Dungy. I'll just say this: he's the Dalai Lama. That's what he is. And when you have leadership like that, I remember years ago, Dave Redding. You know Dave Redding, strength coach. Dave was an amazing strength coach with the Chiefs and other places. One of the just awesome coaches. One of the guys when I was young that used to give me a lot of great advice, whether it's combat. He wouldn't even remember, because those guys, you remember, right? They tell you one thing one time, and you're like, damn.
Oh, yeah.
And he used to say, look, he's a strength coach, man. You're only as good as your head coach and your leaders allow you to be. Dave was as good a coach as there is. And so that's really important in the culture. And the way Bill and Tony and Jim Caldwell ran that place, the culture was that. Now, when Bill Polian gets up in front of the team in a meeting and goes, look, you're going to be here in the off season. I know it's voluntary and all that. And he followed the rules, don't get me wrong. Truly. And you're going to do what we do. Like, this is what we do. And I'll tell you a quick thing about Peyton Manning. So all the players, and it's going to affect your contracts if you're not. Like, we got to build this team. We love what we do, in many phases, including what John and the guys are doing back there, PTs and all. But the first week of the off season, Peyton would ask me for a list, and he'd go, "Who's not here? Like, who hasn't come in yet?" And he'd get on the phone and call. No, I didn't.
True leadership.
What are you doing? Get your ass here. What's going on? Why wouldn't I? Don't even understand. Like, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm in California. I didn't ask where you were. I said, I'll see you tomorrow. And so when you have that unity and that belief in everything you're doing, and then look, I busted my ass. I tried to learn as much as I can. Nobody's got all the answers. My filter was very, very clean. If it was good for the player, I'm for it. Not like do whatever you want. That's not what I'm talking about. If, here's what we're doing. Like, if this is beneficial, like, here's what it is. Systems, here's what it looks like. And we really created a feedback loop, so we didn't have to have a lot of opinions. Like, here's what we're doing. I'm sure very much how you operate. I'm sure of it, right? Let's do this. Let's check your cholesterol. Here's what it is. Let's implement getting your cholesterol down, for lack of a better example. And, okay, this worked or this didn't, because we then just checked it again. So check you against your work. Now, before I go say, this guy's lazy, or this guy's this, or this guy's that, or this guy's the greatest, like, let's get as much opinion out of the room as we can. Let's save that for the cocktail parties. I see. Yes. So let's be systematic about it, because progress is the ultimate motivator, right? And so, and I had a pretty hard, like, Bill, and he was injuries and durability was number one on his list, and he was clear about it. And he was like, "Look, I'll fire you if we get re-injuries and stuff. Like, figure it out. This is when I first started, and we need guys healthy. I don't care what that takes. Whatever that means, get them ready to play on Sunday. I don't give a shit what they squat, John. We got to get them ready to play on Sunday. If it means squat, then squat. You're the strength coach. I'm just telling you, whatever you think it needs. And if we got to rest, then we rest. And if we train, we train. And, you got to help out. You got to look into circadian rhythm and schedules and how we do hydration, how we feed the team, and it sounds all normal now. This was not so normal then, right? And how we do, and how we work with medical, how we work with physical therapy, how we work with the coaches, how we relate to the scouts. Like, I can't be training a guy different than our offensive line coach needs guys. We were a quick kind of shifting, moving team, almost in the Shanahan offensive line kind of thing, Mike Shanahan.
Yeah.
Not as much movement, but move. So we needed leaner guys that can move so you got to get the whole thing philosophy. We're not in some silo doing whatever we're doing. And then, oh, by the way, we also play football or whatever we do. We surf. It's all got to come together.
We're just going to take a quick pause from this conversation to acknowledge our sponsors, and then we'll be right back. The Zelos Podcast is sponsored by Kinetic IQ, where intelligence meets motion. Kinetic IQ brings a biomechanics lab into the palm of your hand, letting you measure movement anytime, anywhere with just an iPad or iPhone. No wearables required. I've been using Kinetic IQ in my own practice, and whether you're screening athletes, optimizing performance, or guiding return to play, it helps practitioners like us save time, capture more objective data, and make instant actionable decisions. So to learn more about how Kinetic IQ is shaping the future of intelligent movement, visit kinetikiq.com. That's KINETIKIQ.com. At the forefront of metabolic elite is Jim Lavelle, internationally recognized clinical pharmacist, a chief science officer at Lifetime, and the co-chair for the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine. He's got over 4 decades of experience and has guided Olympic athletes, professional teams, and leading health institutions. You know what makes Metabolic Elite different is their commitment to real results. Like Lipitab, their proprietary solid-state liposomal delivery system. It's a chewable format which enhances absorption like nutrients like BPC 157 and synapses. They're delivered more efficiently in the body, supporting recovery, focus, cognitive health. Their formulas go beyond the basics, solving performance health challenges at the system level. Every product is tested for quality, it's backed by research, it's trusted by athletes and clinicians alike. And you can get 10% off all of Metabolic Elite products by entering the coupon code ZELOS, ZELOS. How does that feel to be, as far as my perspective, is your kind of ground floor on the building of the systems that are currently in place today? Because, I'm going to take a drink here. What I mean by that is I look back in the 80s and the 90s, and it was just hit the weight room, get on the field. Who cares what you're really putting in your body? Who cares what you're doing at night? How much sleep you're getting, and so on. It wasn't taken into the consideration that you started to develop within the program that you and the other staff were creating. And now, like you say, nowadays, we're looking at all those things. We've got metrics on all those things. But like, from your perspective, as you sit back nowadays and you look at how these programs are being designed, like, how does that feel knowing that you were part of that process of getting it where it is now?
No, I appreciate that. Everything I learned was from Rusty. Rusty was doing nutrition in the late 70s on computer with guys and downloading heart rates on external modems in those days. Not because he wanted to look good like techie, because he used it as a tool to how can I get guys to see and look, and here's what we did last time and how are we going to feed you and all that. So I was so fortunate to soak that up and then kind of take that, that system and the no huddle days of Buffalo and how the conditioning was, and looking at, we looked at how do we take Supermax and VO2 and train that way and all these different things? Not because we wanted to be cute, but science still matters, and it doesn't mean like this. But how can we take the overused phrase of art and science of coaching, together? But nonetheless, what I feel great about is that how you can take all of these things together for this ultimate purpose of maybe we can help guys a little bit. And look, there's a lot of guys in the Hall of Fame that couldn't bench their body weight or squat a damn 135. Sure. And that doesn't mean strength isn't important. But, if you're looking at me, I'd like to really know what, it's cute to say, let's improve weaknesses, but let's really see what might be things that we can untangle and unlock and open up in you so that you can go do your thing. And by the way, if it happens to be an ankle that's locked up, I got a PT right here who knows how to unlock an ankle in about 30 seconds. Why wouldn't I grab him and go, can you open this ankle before I go do something stupid with him, or before he's got a lunge or we go run, so that we can lay down those neural patterns instead of shitty patterns that he has and he's coming to me with? But I got an expert here who can unlock an ankle in 30 seconds. Like, why wouldn't I can't envision a scenario I wouldn't ask him. Unless I got some kind of ego problem that really should be addressed.
Yeah, I don't get that sense, man. Not at all. So, man, we could spend all day long talking about Peyton, Tom, Marvin Harrison, all those guys, and what it was like to be around the weight room there. But I want to know what it's like now, because you said goodbye to that position, said goodbye to the Colts, and now you're on to something with, I won't say more heart, but as much heart and passion now. Talk to me about what you're doing now.
No, I appreciate that. I'll give you a little bit of context too in baggage. And I had an unbelievable 17 years in the NFL. Amazing. And still have the relationships, which anybody will tell you is the most important thing. In 2005, Coach Dungy's oldest son took his life.
Yeah,
and
I remember that.
Jamie was a great kid, and it was really I think everybody will tell you it had some kind of effect on you. And we're flying down to Tampa, and they brought Mr. Irsay was so kind. He chartered a plane. Let's everybody come. My wives can come. Whatever it was. Let's go support Dungy family. And on a flight, so my wife said, "Man, if this can happen." Like I had, I was very ignorant. This can happen, coach. Like nobody's immune to this, And I remember going, you spend a lot of time in the NFL. And look, I worked for a place where Tony was like, look, you see your family. Tony didn't make you stay. Like, it was none of that sleeping in the office mess. Tony wasn't having that. It was family first. Or for him, faith first, then family, then football. And he meant it, and he lived it, and he damn made sure you did too. I could tell you firsthand. But so I said to my wife, someday this is going to end, and I don't want to miss anything of the kids. My kids were young at the time. And I was like, but it'll tell me, like, if I'm missing too much of their lives. So that was that. As far as that. I went to one of their baseball games when they were like second or third grade and on a Saturday afternoon. And I was horrified by what I saw in terms of the behavior. And I'm not talking about the kids. This is Midwest Indiana, where if you can find me nicer, more wholesome, wonderful people, I'd love to meet them. Just Indiana is just Midwest, all the beautiful stuff, and the coaches, the parents, everything we all know about the negativity of what's going on in youth sports. But I had no idea that was even going on.
Really?
Had no idea. Like, I was like, you're locked up working a pro sport job. You don't even know who the president of the United States is. You don't have a clue what you're doing except what you're doing. You can't add two and two together. And so I'm sitting on the bleachers going, what the heck? I said to a friend of mine, I said, what is going on here? This is insane. He's like, what are you talking about, John? He goes, everybody's fine. Don't worry about it. Like, I mean, kids are crying. Parents are on a backstop. Coaches, it's a mess. And I said to him, what if this is good for the kids? I don't understand it. Second and third grade. He goes, John, just relax. He goes, I know you're not here much. This is normal. Don't worry about it. The moment he said that, I said to myself, I don't know if he's right. Is this normal? But I know I'm going to go find out. And if this is normal, I know what I got to do with the rest of my life. I got to go find people that want to course correct this mess. If this is normal, that want to help coaches coach, parents understand what this thing really is about. Not that I have the answers. I had no idea. And on behalf of the kids, what happened to our beautiful sports? I'm not saying don't have discipline and hard work. Like, I'm all for it, believe me. So I go on this journey, and I got to know so many people and mentors, and Joe Ehrman, and I can name them, so many of them. And when I found out 70% of our kids are quitting youth sports by the age of 13, and all these statistics, I was like, okay, something's definitely wrong. So I was like, all right, my friend Jeff was right. He did say this was normal. Where he was wrong was telling me not to worry about it. So when I found out that was the problem, when I saw what my kids were doing growing up playing youth sports and what was happening on the fields and courts in our community, some great things, some not. And that's, and then my naive and ignorant self got really open to this access and opportunity challenge that kids have due to zip code, that the same kids don't even play rec sports. I'm not even talking about travel craziness. I'm like, well, this is an issue. And why don't they get great coaching like these, And I was like, all right, we got some kind of weird problem. So I said, I gotta find people that are doing this thing the right way and lock arms with them and try to be of some help. And so that's what I did. And I was running around the country and doing some workshops and different things. And I got invited to a very wealthy town's rec commission to give a talk about why they were having 6-year-olds sign up for all-year baseball. And then they go for training. I'm talking about 6U. And
wow.
I was not shocked, but highly disappointed at the reception of it. And I'm not saying I'm the best, speech maker of all time, but I'm not bad. And so I was like, so I went from there and I said, you know what, I'm going to open up my own youth sports and locally and see if we can put tangible evidence of what a great youth sports program is that is giving sports back to the kids, coached by people that actually understand it, like school teachers and counselors. One of our best coaches was a custodian in his school system, one of the great coaches of all time. And always wanted to coach and had an opportunity to do it. And we college kids and teach them and educate the parents of what this really is. And we talk to the parents all the time. And it was wonderful. We had amazing impact with the children. Got out of that and went to now to a place called Coach Across America.
Mm-hmm.
It's a national nonprofit where the visionary founder of it, named Paul Cacamo, basically years ago saw Teach for America and modeled it. Said, you know what? I know the power and platform the coaches have. I think we can model Teach for America with coaches and really make an impact. I hate to say it, but where kids really listen on the ball fields. I listened a lot differently in math class than I did to my coaches on the ball field. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so he put together an amazing guy, this national nonprofit. And we partner with nonprofit youth sports organizations, schools, and parks and rec. And we hire and train coaches to go into those partner organizations and increase capacity in programming and mentorship of these children, all of which are in marginalized and underserved communities. One of the things I love best about this is the majority of our coaches serve in the communities in which they're from. So we have kids from Harlem coaching in Harlem. We have kids from the South Bronx coaching in the South Bronx. And when you see that kind of now generational thing and that civic pride and mentoring kids and kids having models, oh, I can actually do this, right? We didn't run the 4-minute mile till we saw Bannister do it, and then we had 17 people like the next 3 weeks doing it, right?
Right.
And so it's a beautiful, beautiful program. And these partners we have, they're doing work that nobody even knows about with kids, and it's amazing. So that's been a really, really cool thing, and that's kind of been the journey we're on. Is how can we help coaches, youth and high school, and all coaches really, take a notice at themselves, and what are they pouring into these kids, and where, I just told people, if I had 10 coaches growing up, 5 of the reason I went to the NFL and 5 of the reason I had to talk to a psychologist, so, how can we help these well-intended folks do right by the kids and make a real mentorship impact? So it's a lot of fun.
That's wonderful. There's other organizations out there doing the same. I've had the honor of having a few of them as my guest on the podcast. So I'm sure after we're done, we'll do a little networking, give you some connections with them too. But I think for me, what's really nice about this conversation is that often we get into the nuts and bolts and the figures and the different kind of movements and lifts and program design and all that. But we need to step back from time to time and realize it's not about what you lift or how you lift it. There's other things in life. It's building the community. It's building the person, building the athlete. And it doesn't just happen in the weight room itself. It happens off the playing field, off the court, as well as on. So, and it's so nice that there's people out there like yourself that are, I would say, dissuading families to not get their children in a career at 6 years old, because that's essentially what I'm hearing. It's like, oh, you're going to turn them into a career baseball player, a career volleyball player. They're not going to do any other activities but that. Oh, no, they do. Like there's like a 3-week summer camp. And what's that all about? Well, they do the sport, but oh my gosh, I don't know how did we get there?
Rock, it's so interesting. And look, I don't have the answer, but it's interesting question. By the way, see, it's funny. Pendulums always swing, right? So you say, okay, we're going to get completely into relations and connection and all that. That's important. But at the same time, like, I would appreciate it if you're going to teach me how to deadlift, that you know how to teach the deadlift so I don't hurt my back. Also, like you ought to have skills too. Otherwise, you're just a good dude, and I can find a lot of good dudes.
Well
It'd be
said.
great if you didn't hurt my back at minimum and got me better at also. So both matter. Both matter.
Right. Yeah. Well said.
But nonetheless, one of the things, right? If you're a parent and you sit in the stands, you have to understand. Well, first of all, many parents don't know. They just don't know. I don't know if I got in a room full of accountants. I don't know accounting, and I would probably yell and say some dumb thing like, what's a W-2, like, or whatever, like, or why are you charging me so much? It's just you just don't know, so you do it, you do what you do. The difference in that, though, is this: if you've ever had a child or a relative or somebody you care about on a ball field or a pool or an ocean or a track or ice or wherever it is, and especially if it's your your child, there's something biological that occurs that you have no ability anymore to be logical. Because it's biology, and that's your little one out there.
Yep.
And all of the things about us
reflect in that
come through.
Yeah.
And unless you have, and so now we get these blind spots. So now we're screaming at refs, we're coaching them up so they look good. or we look good as nothing's better as a parent than when somebody comes up to you after the game. Oh, what a good game, little Bobby had. You must be proud. He scored 3 goals. Oh, man, And so it feels good, right? That's a reflection of me, but not vocally. So there's something that goes on. And we don't even notice it because it's biological. But if we can show the blind spots of what's occurring, like if we can have people like, just take a look, like what, like you're screaming at the thing, or you want this 6-year-old to go to the pros. Why? What, like, take a look, just take a look. If you can separate a little bit, like you can see like this blind spot, a blind spot's a blind spot because you can't see it yourself. It takes kind of somebody to show you, right? Or at least ask you, like, hey man, or hey, yeah. And like what, like separate the biology, like your child's looking at you in the stands because you're telling them something about the play. You don't, first of all, you don't coach, you never at practice, but you got all the answers because, not because you got the answer, but the coach is over there who actually has what they want that child to do for whatever reason they want to do. If you want to coach, you can sign up. They'll take you.
Sure.
So take a look. Why am I behaving this way? What is it that what's my fear? I need to look good? Is my child enjoying it? And here's a question I always ask parents, because you get this all the time. Oh, no, they love it. Oh, she loves it. She loves it. Like, oh, does she like the sport? Oh, she loves it. She loves training 8 days a week and going to this and driving here and eating McDonald's in the car. So ask your child this and be ready for the answer. Do they love it? Does your child love it? Or do they love that you love it? Because what they love many times, and they may love it, they might, and that's great, and they ought to. But they also love that you love it, because what are you being in presence of when you're at the game? Unfortunately, many are on their phone, but let's say you're not on your phone. You're present and watching them. You're engaged with them, right? They see you watching them. You're paying attention to them, caring about them, however that shows up. It's like, oh, this is how I get, right? And so just take a look. And I'm not saying that's the answer. I'm just saying take a look.
Yeah, I like it. It's interesting. We somewhere in the same conversation here, we have established a 30-minute rule when my kids were competing in sports. And I was often one of the coaches, of course, but even when I wasn't one of the coaches, after whichever event they took place in, I waited 30 minutes before I had anything to add or comment or suggest or anything like that. Because by giving yourself that time afterwards, one, the emotions drain down. Yeah, the excitement of a competition drains down. Clearer thoughts prevail. You've got a little bit of time to consider what it is, if there's a message or a lesson or advice you want to give. Hey, I've got a 30-minute timeout. I cannot give any advice or anything, whether they won, lose, or whatever, if they're walking away with a trophy or not. But if they want to come to me in that window of opportunity, they're welcome to, but I'm not going to go that. And I thought somebody gave me that advice a long time ago, and I went with it. And wow, what remarkable outcome that I hadn't considered. And it was such a positive feedback that I share it with parents that are coaching or spectators. It's great.
Love it. What's beautiful about that, what you did, was it started with an awareness for you. You had an awareness of, I should probably be a certain way or put a certain thing up. And you did. And then you followed through with it. But it took you just awareness, which is where everything starts, to go, probably not good if I go at them right away. That's probably not helpful.
Right.
Or whoever gave you this advice opened your eyes up to it, right? I mean, so good, good on you. Look, I tell people this all the time. Archie Manning, Peyton and Eli's and Cooper's dad, had a rule. He never coached them. They had to go ask. He never. They wanted to learn. He was happy to, but they had to come ask.
Nice. Man, John, time just screams by when I'm connected with somebody, and I feel like we've been only going for like 3 minutes now. But hey, here we are, all the way through the hour. Um, you know what? I want to have you back on because there's a whole bunch of other questions, and we can get into like more of the nitty gritty of football strength and conditioning and all that. But this remarkable conversation. I really appreciate you. And honestly, I feel like I just met a friend that I had no idea was out there. So really, man, I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
I feel the same. Thank you for the words, and I feel the same way. It was great. I'm happy to. Great conversation. I appreciate the hell out of it.
And that's a wrap for this episode of the Zelos Podcast. I can't thank John enough for coming on. Be sure to check out Coaching Across America, Coaches Across America, as well as the Women's Coaching Alliance with Pam Baker, previous podcasts, everything these pros are doing to bring coaching to kids that may not have that opportunity. Now, remember, we've got the Fascia Performance and Rehab Summit, March 27th and 28th, coming up in Fair Lawn, New Jersey. Go to performbetter.com or Parisi Speed School or my own website, rockysnyder.com. And here's one more opportunity to listen to our amazing sponsors. Have a great week. Remember to check out metabolicelite.co. Check out all the products they have on their website. Synapsin Pro is something I've been using to help stay focused without having to over-caffeinate myself. It keeps me in the zone so I can just really hone in on the things I need to achieve without feeling like, man, I got to reach for an energy drink every 5 minutes. Metabolicelite.co. And don't forget, Kinetic IQ. They've got markerless motion capture for morons like me. I can use their product with my iPhone or my iPad. I can look at posture analysis, movement analysis of any exercise, gait analysis. It gives me everything I could possibly want when tracking people's movements. So, check out kinetikiq.com.